Buckle up. Let's step into a heart-stopping ride as we unravel Ambulance, a gripping action thriller that took audiences by storm in 2022, unleashing a thrilling tale of brotherhood, desperation, and high-stakes escape. The movie opens with a night view of Los Angeles, introducing former Marine and Afghanistan veteran Will Sharp, desperate to secure experimental cancer treatment for his wife Amy. Sharp is seen trying to get through to a medical insurance agent, expressing his urgent need of money to cover the bills only to be met with rejection. He sits anxiously on the phone, pleading with the hospital representative to expedite his wife's treatment. Despite his efforts, the hospital had failed to create her medical file, delaying her critical care. Will desperately talked about how he's fought for this country, risked his life for its people, but the hospital representative, unmoved, tells him he's going to get a cup of coffee, and someone will get back to him while he hung up on him. Annie witnessed the entire conversation. Filled with worry, tells him she doesn't trust anyone anymore, but trusts only him, hoping he'd take care of her. Will softens in determination, assuring her he'll do whatever it takes. His need of $231,000 to save her life, the thought of being there for their kid, and the crippling frustration drove him to seek drastic measures, turning to his adoptive brother Danny, a lifelong criminal, for help. The city's emergency services springs into action. An ambulance receives dispatch orders and speeds towards the scene of a devastating accident. EMT Cam Thompson and her team rush to provide critical care. Upon arrival, Cam meets a horrific sight: a young girl impaled by an iron rod in the backseat. With swift precision, Cam and her team administer first aid, stabilizing the girl before rushing her to the hospital. Meanwhile, Will navigates the city's underworld, seeking out his adoptive brother. Danny's garage is filled with sleek luxury cars, serving as a front for his illicit activities. As Will approaches, Danny emerges from the shadows, a charismatic smile spreading across his face. The brothers exchange warm greetings and express their bond, looking at their childhood pictures and remembering the good times they had. "I know you wouldn't come to me unless you really needed something, Will," Danny said, his tone tinged with amusement. But Will's expression suddenly turns serious, telling Danny how much he needs his help with some money for his wife's treatment. Danny asks him how much he needs. Will reveals the daunting figure: $231,000. For Amy's surgery. Danny assures to give him even more than that if he agrees to join him for something big. Will's instincts screams caution, but desperation overrides his doubts, so he asks what he'd have him do. Weighing the risks, Will wavers at Danny's proposal of a $32 million bank robbery, but his brother's persuasive words wears down his resistance, and he reluctantly agrees to join the robbery, pushing aside his doubts. The brothers climbed into the stolen delivery truck, now disguised with a fresh coat of paint. As they approached the LA Federal Bank, Will's unease grew. Could he trust Danny? Was this the only way to save Amy? Inside the bank, Danny's team moved swiftly, taking control with military precision. Customers and employees were subdued, and the vault was breached. The robbery seems flawless, but then a police officer named Zach walks in, unaware of the danger. He approaches a bank teller, asking for her number, when Danny grasps his arm, pulling him into the fray. Zach realizes the situation. Danny's grip tightens, holding him hostage, and goes yelling to everyone to not move. Outside, Officer Mark, Zach's partner, senses something amiss, approaches the bank, gun drawn. One of the robbery team members, posted as a lookout, opens fire on Mark. The sound of gunfire shattered the air, and chaos erupts. Mark returns fire, pinning down behind his cruiser. The shootout intensifies, with bullets ripping through the bank's facade. Danny's team opens fire while protecting their escape route. Will is seen shielding civilians, ensuring no innocent lives are lost. Zach struggles against Danny's grip, awaiting an opportunity to strike back. The robbery had turned into a deadly standoff. Will's decision to join Danny now threatens to unravel his entire world. The LAPD's Special Investigation Section, SIS, arrives, surrounding the bank, bringing down Danny's crew one by one. Will and Danny retreat to the garage, pinned down. Zach seizes the chaos, attempting to break free from Danny's grip. In the scuffle, Will's gun discharges, accidentally striking Zach. Danny yanks Will away, asking them to move. The brothers fled through the garage, only to find the police waiting. They spotted a Falk ambulance arriving at the scene. With swift precision, Danny commandeered the vehicle, dragging Will inside with paramedic Cam Thompson on board, who is treating Zach's wounds, her eyes widening as the brothers hijacked her ambulance. The police pursuit intensifies, weaving through Los Angeles streets. Cam made a desperate bid for freedom, deploying the fire extinguisher to distract the brothers. However, changes her mind as Zach's vital signs falter and tries to save the officer's life. Will's gaze locks onto Cam. A flicker of empathy sparking within, and his voice laced with regret tells Cam to not let Zach die. The ambulance's sirens blares as it speeds through Los Angeles streets, pursued by the LAPD. Danny, surprisingly, assisted Cam in keeping Zach stable, urging Cam in a gentle tone to keep him alive, because he doesn't want his blood on his hands, especially not a cope. Cam keeps a defensive look yet appreciates Danny's unexpected help. Two individuals, Papi and Roberto, show up in the scene. Meanwhile, Papi is a close friend of Will and Danny's father. He receives a phone call from Danny, who informs him that they are in a tight spot being chased by the police and need a way out. If he assists them in evading the police, they will reward him with $8 million. Papi, calculating the risks and rewards, tells Danny he'll send Roberto to assist, and he should meet them at the old warehouse on 5th and Main. Cam worked tirelessly to keep Zach alive amidst the chaos. Her skill is being put to the ultimate test. Will, on the other hand, navigates the streets, dodging police cruisers. With Papi and Roberto entering the fray, the dynamics shifted. Would their help be enough to evade capture, or would the LAPD close in? The ambulance screeches through a sharp turn, sirens wailing. The chase intensifies, with lives hanging precariously in the balance, and the LAPD and FBI not giving up. As the stakes escalated, Will's moral compass wavered. Had he made a grave mistake joining Danny? Cam urgently voices out her fears in the midst of the chaos as she is running out of emergency blood. Zach needs a transfusion immediately. Will reacts instinctively, tells her his blood type is O negative, and she can have it. Cam began the transfusion, while Danny's gaze locked onto Mark's pursuing police vehicle while he devices to take him out, aiming his gun in his direction. Cam intervenes, grabbing Danny's arm, preventing him from shooting Mark, who has been chasing them. Meanwhile, Danny threatens to throw her off the ambulance. The police are compelled to withdraw when it is revealed that Monroe's dog, Nitro, is inside Mark's police car. FBI agent Anson Clark, who is an old acquaintance of Danny's, takes over the investigation. The chase is now being aired live on television, while Agent Clark meets with Captain Monroe and informs him that the orchestrator of this heist is a criminal named Danny, who has been engaged in such activities since he was only 17 years old. His father was a legend who robbed 6 major banks. Monroe wonders what Danny's motive is. Clark explains that he's only using Zach to escape, knowing that he is not a killer. Clark assures him that he knows Danny very well. He might be a criminal, but he is not a monster and wouldn't take people's lives. Clark assures him he is not going to kill Zach either, instead use him to get away from the police and the FBI. So Captain asks Clark to help him with the case. Now Zach's condition began to get worse, and Cam tells them that he would be needing surgery as soon as possible. Danny, however, places a gun to her head, making it clear that they cannot halt their actions at this moment. "We can't stop now. Just keep Zach alive," he said. Cam's eyes locked onto Will's, pleading for help. With a subtle nod, Will began assisting Cam. She swiftly called her doctor friend, Dr. Powell, who guided her through the critical procedure, administering anesthesia, making the incision, and repairing the spleen. As Cam operated, Will maintained pressure on Zach's wound. Danny monitored the surroundings, gun still in hand. With Will's help, Cam starts operating on Zach, whose spleen has been injured. Despite her lack of experience, she successfully carries out the surgery, leading to an improvement in Zach's condition. Will reassures Cam that there is no need for her to be afraid, as they do not intend to harm anyone. Meanwhile, Cam's doctor friend receives a phone call from the captain inquiring about the status of the surgery. The doctor informs him that Zach is in a very critical state, so he cannot provide any definitive information. This news drives the captain into a rage. His intentions shift from merely wanting to apprehend the brothers to wanting them dead. Unbeknownst to the doctor, Cam successfully performed the surgery on Zach, which is why he misinformed the captain about Zach's potential demise. In response, the captain instructs his snipers to position themselves at various locations with orders to take aim at Danny and Will. Agent Clark is opposed to the plan and contacts Cam to inform her that the police intend to kill the brothers. He advises her to hide under the stretcher. Cam warns him against this decision, asserting that Zach is still alive and has successfully undergone surgery, now on the path to recovery. Despite her warnings, they disregard her, and the captain instructs his snipers to proceed with their orders. With no other option, Cam informs the brothers about the snipers' intentions. She alerts Danny about their plan to shoot them, prompting them to maneuver the truck just in time to evade the attack. Frustrated with Cam, Danny contemplates shooting her, but Will steps in to prevent it, leading to a conflict between the brothers regarding their situation. While they argue, Cam sends a text message to an FBI agent detailing Danny's scheme. The agent advises Cam that she must convince Will to ally with her and incite conflict between the brothers if she hopes to survive. To weaken Will further, Cam resumes taking his blood. When she learns that Will is doing everything for his wife, she feigns sadness and attempts to persuade Will to join her. Meanwhile, Pappy's men have already prepared numerous ambulances that are identical to the ones the brothers have taken. Their strategy involves swapping the ambulances to mislead the police. One of Danny's associates contacts him to inform him about Pappy's preparations, which also include a variety of advanced weaponry. The brothers begin to mend their relationship and listen to music together to alleviate the tension. In the Los Angeles River, helicopters pursue the ambulance while Danny fires at them. Will and Danny then drive against traffic on the interstate, causing several accidents. Ultimately, they arrive at a location where Pappy's men are already waiting for them. After exiting the ambulance, Danny tells Will he can leave now because what is about to happen next is extremely dangerous. He informs his brother that he has family responsibilities, so he is reluctant to risk his life. Will responds by saying that he also has a brother to look after, which makes Danny feel pleased. Danny has now painted his car green. Meanwhile, numerous ambulances, identical to the one the brothers have been using, are dispatched to mislead and distract the police. The police stop and surround one of these ambulances, allowing Danny and Will to escape amidst the confusion. Danny then updates Roberto about their successful getaway and advises him to leave as well. Roberto rigs a bomb in his ambulance and exits it just before it approaches a location where many police officers have assembled. He detonates the bomb, resulting in numerous casualties. As Roberto flees the scene, a police officer spots him and begins a pursuit. Pappy's men then unleash machine guns from separate vehicles to inflict further chaos. This assault serves as a diversion, allowing Roberto to escape. However, Officer Mark continues his pursuit and ultimately apprehends Roberto. During their confrontation, Roberto is killed. Upon learning of his son's death, Pappy is overwhelmed with sorrow. In the midst of the gunfire, the captain also loses his life. Meanwhile, Will and Danny manage to flee to Pappy's hideout, where Pappy insists that the brothers abandon Zach and Cam for him to handle. At this point, Zach has regained consciousness and hands Cam a firearm for her protection. Will refuses to comply and instead collaborates with Danny to eliminate Pappy and his gang. Amidst the turmoil, Cam inadvertently shoots Will with Zach's gun. Danny drives the ambulance to a hospital, but becomes furious upon discovering Zach's gun, when Cam admits she was responsible for shooting Will. Danny makes a public declaration on live television that he intends to kill both Cam and himself before facing the police. In a desperate situation, Will shoots Danny in the back. Before succumbing to his injuries, Danny expresses remorse to Will. The police apprehend a severely injured Will and transport him for medical treatment. Meanwhile, Cam discreetly gives part of the stolen money to Amy to cover her surgery expenses. When questioned by law enforcement regarding his injuries, Zach states that Will was responsible for saving his life. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, enable notifications, and leave a like to support the channel.